Deep in the misty forests of an ancient African village, heartbroken Kamsi wandered through the towering trees, her world crumbling around her. Her fiancé Chidi had vanished without a trace 3 months ago, and her family blamed her, calling it a curse. She had nowhere left to turn. As twilight descended and the forest grew darker, she found herself at the edge of a forbidden clearing. The elders warned never to enter. There, half buried in earth and moss, sat an ancient human skull, its hollow eyes seeming to follow her movement. Kamsi froze. Then, impossibly, it spoke. "Why do you cry, daughter of the soil?" The voice was neither male nor female, ancient and echoing. Terrified, she stumbled backward, but the skull continued. "I know why you weep. I know where he is." Her heart pounded. "Chidi? You know where Chidi is?" The skull's empty socket seemed to gleam in the fading light. "Come to me when the moon rises. Come for 3 nights. Whisper your fears to me, and I will show you the truth about your beloved." That night, Kamsi couldn't sleep. The skull's words echoed in her mind. As the full moon climbed above the treetops, she wrapped herself in a dark cloth and crept from her hut, moving silently past sleeping villagers. The forest seemed alive with whispers and shadows. When she reached the clearing, the skull sat waiting, bathed in silver moonlight. "You came," it said with satisfaction. "Sit before me and speak your deepest fear." Trembling, Kamsi knelt in the damp earth. I fear Chidi abandoned me, that he never loved me at all." The skull was silent for a long moment. Then it began to hum, a low vibration that made her bones ache. Suddenly, her vision blurred. She saw Chidi walking down a village path, a beautiful woman approaching him with a strange smile. The woman whispered something, and Chidi's face changed, becoming blank and distant. The vision faded. "Betrayal," the skull whispered. "But not his betrayal. Return tomorrow night. There is more you must see." Before Kamsi could ask questions, the skull fell silent, becoming just bone once more. All day, Kamsi's mind raced with questions. Who was that woman? What did she do to Chidi? As darkness fell again, she found herself drawn back to the forest, though fear gnawed at her heart. The village elder's daughter had seen her returning at dawn and whispered warnings about forest demons. But Kamsi had to know the truth. The skull awaited her, and this time its voice was stronger, more commanding. "Speak your second fear." Kamsi's voice shook. "I fear something evil took him from me." The skull hummed louder, and the air around them grew cold. Another vision came, clearer this time. She saw the same woman standing over Chidi in a dark hut, chanting words in a forgotten tongue. She held something that glowed with unnatural light, and as she completed her ritual, Chidi's body began to change, becoming rigid, his skin turning gray like stone. The woman laughed cruelly. "Imprisoned," the skull said as the vision ended. "He is trapped between worlds. Tomorrow is the final night. Tomorrow, you must make a choice." Kamsi could barely function the next day. Her mother noticed her exhaustion, her trembling hands, her distant stare. "What troubles you, my daughter?" she asked. But Kamsi couldn't speak the truth. How could she explain about a talking skull? The village would call her mad or possessed. That evening, old Maman Kiru, the village wise woman, stopped Kamsi on the path. "I see shadows around you, child. You walk between the living and the dead. Whatever calls you from the forest, resist it. Evil spirits deceive with promises they cannot keep." Kamsi wanted to listen, wanted to turn away, but she thought of Chidi, kind, loving Chidi who had promised her forever. If there was any chance to save him, any chance to bring him back, she had to take it. As the moon rose for the third time, she made her way back to the clearing. The skull seemed to pulse with dark energy. "Tonight, we end this," it said. "Tonight, you learn everything, but first you must prove your love is real." The skull's voice took on an urgent, almost hungry quality. "To break the curse that binds your beloved, you must bind yourself to this place, to this moment, with blood and truth." Kamsi's heart raced. "What do you mean? Place your hand upon me," the skull commanded. "Let 3 drops of your blood fall upon these bones, and swear that your love is pure, unwavering, and eternal. Only then can the magic be broken." Fear and desperation warred within her. Every instinct screamed danger, yet she had come this far. She thought of Chidi's smile, his gentle touch, the life they had planned together. With shaking hands, she found a sharp stone and pressed it against her palm. Pain flared and blood welled up. She held her hand over the skull, watching 3 dark drops fall onto the ancient bone. "I swear," she whispered, "my love is pure and eternal. I swear it." The moment the words left her lips, the skull began to crack. Light poured from the fractures, blinding and golden. Kamsi fell backward as the skull shattered into 1,000 pieces, and the clearing exploded with supernatural wind. The light was blinding. Kamsi shielded her eyes as the wind howled around her, pulling at her clothes and hair. The fragments of the skull rose into the air, spinning faster and faster, forming a whirlwind of bone and light. Then, as suddenly as it began, everything stopped. The pieces fell to the ground like rain. And standing in the center of the clearing, where the skull had been, was Chidi. But something was wrong. He looked exactly as she remembered, young, strong, handsome, yet his eyes were confused, lost. "Kamsi?" His voice was hoarse, as if he hadn't spoken in months. She ran to him, throwing her arms around him, sobbing with relief and joy. "Chidi, you're here! You're alive!" He held her, but his body was stiff, uncertain. I don't understand. Where am I? The last thing I remember." His voice trailed off as he looked down and saw the shattered skull at their feet. His face went pale. "No, it can't be." "What?" Kamsi pulled back, searching his face. "Chidi, what's wrong?" His eyes filled with tears. "Kamsi, that skull, it was me." Chidi took Kamsi's hands, his grip desperate and urgent. "Let me explain everything before we leave this cursed place." He led her to sit on a fallen log at the clearing's edge, never taking his eyes from the shattered bones. 3 months ago, I was walking home from the market. A woman stopped me on the path, beautiful but with something cold in her eyes. She said she loved me, that we were meant to be together. I told her I was engaged to you, that I loved only you. His voice broke. She became furious. She said if she couldn't have me, no one would. She began chanting, and I felt my body changing, shrinking, becoming something else. The pain was unbearable. Then, darkness. Kamsi listened in horror as he continued. "When I woke, I was no longer human. I was the skull, unable to move, unable to speak, except when someone with a pure heart stood before me. The witch's curse was specific. Only if my true love found me, spoke to me for 3 nights, and proved her love with blood, could I be freed." Tears streamed down Kamsi's face as understanding dawned. "You were there the whole time, listening to my fears, showing me visions." Chidi nodded. "I couldn't tell you it was me. The curse prevented it. I could only guide you toward the truth, hoping you would be brave enough to complete the ritual. When you didn't come the first night, I thought I'd lost you forever." "I almost didn't come," Kamsi admitted. "I was terrified. The villagers say evil spirits live in these woods." "They were trying to protect you," Chidi said. "And they were right to be afraid. If your love hadn't been pure, if you had hesitated to give your blood, the curse would have consumed us both. The witch designed it that way, a trap baited with hope." He pulled her close. "But you didn't hesitate. Even frightened, even warned against it, you came back every night. You risked everything for me." Kamsi touched his face, making sure he was real. "I would have done anything. I thought I'd lost you forever." "You saved me," he whispered. "Your love broke what magic had sealed." As the first light of dawn broke through the forest canopy, Kamsi and Chidi stood together in the clearing, hand in hand. The shattered skull had turned to dust, carried away by the morning breeze. "We should return to the village," Kamsi said. "Your family will want to know you're safe." Chidi hesitated. "What will we tell them? They'll never believe the truth." "Then we'll tell them love brought you. That's all they need to know." As they walked through the forest, Kamsi thought about everything that had happened, the fear, the mystery, the whispered warnings, and the final act of faith. She had judged the skull by its appearance, seeing only death and darkness, never imagining it held the man she loved. They emerged from the trees just as the village began to wake. Chidi squeezed her hand. "Thank you for seeing past the curse, for hearing my voice even when I couldn't speak." Kamsi smiled. A heart that loves truly can hear whispers through the darkest mysteries. Appearances deceive, but love endures. And together they walked home, proving that even the cruelest curse cannot defeat love that refuses to surrender. True love whispers through the darkest mysteries, enduring silence and deception to find its voice. Never judge by appearance alone. Every face, even one of bone, may hide a story of devotion waiting to be freed.